You're listening to Mixed Metal Media, hosted by Metal MistressC on Spreaker.com. Well, hello, everyone. Yes, I'm doing my show a little bit earlier tonight because we have an interesting guest coming on tonight. You know, Mistress is a big fan of punk music. I'm a big Misfits fan. I love the Ramones. I love the Sex Pistols. I like all that old, punk type music. So Mistress has a fella coming on tonight by the name of Spike Polite, and he's with the band Sewage, and they're actually from the early 1990s. So I actually going to call him up in a little bit and have him come on. But, they have a new album out called Punk Not Dead. I'm going to play a couple of tracks from their album tonight, and then we're going to call him up and have him come on. So let me just give you a little brief history of him and the band. They came out in the early 1990s. Sewage was performed by the Pot Parade with David Peel. Right, they performed with these bands. Onyx, Cypress Hill, a popular hip-hop act in 1992. You might remember they had that song, I think I want to say Jump, because my nephew, who is my brother likes Cypress Hill, of all people, and his young son used to dance to that in his, walker or something, so it's kind of funny, a childhood memory. And then they opened up for the fatal final show of the infamous scum rocker G.G. Allin on June 27th of 1993. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about them opening up for G.G. Allin. And for people who don't know about him, he was kind of crazy, I think. He has been reported to smear fecal matter on himself at shows. He also had sadist tendencies where he'd break glass and then roll around in it on stage. So, actually I know a few people that actually know G.G. Allin or knew him in person, and I've heard all kinds of stories. So that's pretty cool that they actually opened up for their fatal final show of the infamous scum rocker G.G. Allin on June 27th of 1993. G.G. was best known for abusing his audience with fecal matter and abusing himself by rolling around in broken glass, like I just said. Sewage also played ABC No Rio with Bambi, as well as drunk punk band Public Nuisance. Sewage also played other squat shows and played with Casualties at, I lost my place here. I'm reading from a sheet, by the way. Casualties at the 13th Street Squat. The band lived in squats and on the streets, yet were not crusties, rather abusive authority in a time when gentrification was starting, back when the real estate influenced police to shut down neighborhoods and close up spaces which artists and musicians just live, squat houses basically, or zombie houses, and now as well as famous import landmarks. Sewage later filmed on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's documentary on punk rock, in which both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, where punk rock was created and became popular, argued over who started punk rock. Sewage played many gigs, but mainly within the tri-state area, and performed live on Crucial Chaos, WNYU radio, as well as a couple of squat pirate radio stations. Sewage also performed frequently at CBGB's with the Ramones, as Dee Dee Ramone was a friend of the band, who also put Sewage in his fanzine Shooting Dope, world-renowned art gallery Kastabi World, through Paul Indrek's Kastabi efforts, signed Sewage to a record deal on Grim Reaper Records in 1998 after the band did a split 7-inch vinyl release with the Hammerbrain in 1996. Spike Polite, and the band's lead vocalist / guitarist, was signed with Eastwood Talent, which placed him as a model and an actor, and placed him and his band in many commercials and movies. So let's see. To name a couple: Armani, Deborah Harry's clothing line, New York Police Department Blues Players, a Sony commercial, the movie 200 Cigarettes, which I'm going to ask them about, Requiem for a Dream, or is it Requiem for a Dream, David Letterman, and many other products. So I have some other stuff that I'm going to talk to him about while he's on the show. And so I'm not going to give away the rest of the introduction, but I am going to play one of their songs called Pandemonium. So I'm going to start with that one first, and I hope you people like it. I actually seem to like it quite a bit because I am a big punk fan too, as well as a metalhead. So here we go. Here's Pandemonium.
Close contact, contamination. Silent killer in the air. Blow your nose, rub your eyes, spread it everywhere. Was it a flu or just a cold? Killing me, yo. The 1% protocol is population control. Why she's stagnantly in the streets? Pharmaceutical industry is booming. People are scared, streets are bare. We're going anywhere, sit and blow. Lockdown in place. No income, desolation. Streets of Gotham, rising crime. It's a Joker sound. Conducted in a laboratory. Uncle Sam gave it to me. Mandatory masking and social distancing. Big Brother's control is tightening. People scared, they're going anywhere. The streets are bare, sit and roll. Bill Gates is laughing, Trump was smiling. Putin is laughing, but millions are dying.
Wow, so that was their song Pandemonium. I actually like that quite a bit. So I think I'm going to text him now and ask him to call in, or I can just call him. Hold on. Here goes. So when my phone rings, I'm going to answer. So I have some interesting questions to ask him too about his role in 200 Cigarettes. If anyone has seen that movie, it's with Courtney Love and Ben Affleck, and Casey Affleck is in it, and Martha Plimpton. And here he is calling me right now. Hello?
Hey, good evening.
Hi, how are you? I was just talking a little bit about you, and I actually just played your song Pandemonium after I did a little intro about you first, Mr. They call you Spike Polite, or can I call you Spike? Okay.
Spike could work, yeah. Wow, so you playing Pandemonium. That's cool. That was during the pandemic times, yeah.
That's a great song. I love that song. It reminds me of, like, old Sex Pistols.
I didn't think of that at all myself. I was thinking of something else, but our new album, I got to get a copy to you somehow. Maybe you might like that one even more.
Because I am a big punk fan, even though I like metal. I'm a big Misfits fan. I like the Sex Pistols. I like the Clash. I like, the Kinks are early, like, punk, I think, to some degree. So, I like all that stuff. So I'm a big punk rocker, like,
Yeah, that's CBGB.
Exactly. Actually, I was just talking about a little bit about you and about how you were at CBGB's and you're friendly with Dee Dee Ramone, right?
Yeah, Dee Dee was our mentor. He's a good guy. Him and our bass player got along pretty good, and our manager, Paul Kostabi, had done their album cover for Adios Amigos, and they were always around the art gallery and down there, and it was good stuff. Working, we ended up doing a 7-inch in the end, but he just was hanging around. That's
I know. I heard that in 1998, the band did a split 7-inch vinyl release with Hammerbrain, right?
96.
Yeah, 96. I'm sorry. Okay, because I was reading something about the thing I pulled off of Facebook, my little notes, said that you were, you got a record deal with Grim Reaper Records in 1998 after the band did a 7-split-inch vinyl. Right, so I read a little backwards. Okay, never mind. I have a little dyslexic from listening to punk music, you know?
It can happen. Yeah, I think that was Intensive Scare Records that Kostabi was in with then, and yeah, he always played in Dee Dee's band, and then he played in White Zombie also. So he was in the know on what was going on.
Gotcha.
And it's helpful. We were kicking around Coney Island High, playing over at Jesse Malin's club, him and Howie Pyro from D-Generation. Mm-hmm. They had always been in the scene since probably like when punk went hardcore, I guess.
Right,
those guys
right.
were around, but yeah. But yeah, Paul Kostabi helped a lot with that. I mean, Dee Dee's not around anymore.
No, I know that, I know. You know, I have a funny joke kind of question. Remember that movie Night at the Roxbury?
Okay.
Do you know the guy that owns the nightclub that they're trying to get in? That's not the same Kostabi guy, is
It's a pair, Mark Kostabi and the younger brother, Paul Kostabi. They did Guns N' Roses thing also, the Use Your Illusion.
Okay, gotcha.
Albums.
I was being kind of funny. I was trying to make a stupid joke, but I guess it didn't work out that well, so.
Oh, maybe it was like them, yeah. I don't remember them running a club, though. They just had the art gallery thing. That was their thing, mainly in Soho. But, yeah, they still do art and everything. Kostabi's up running a studio, and he had Psychotica, and he would help us with that. In fact, that's how he got us the Spike Lee thing, was because Psychotica was going to get it, but then they really needed a punk band, so he just was honest and said, we'll take my artist instead. And, yeah, otherwise he would have pretended to be, Psychotica's not really punk rock, but
yeah,
we are.
So, 200 Cigarettes is like one of my favorite movies, right? So when I read that, I was like, holy mackerel. So what was your role in 200 Cigarettes? Can I ask? Because, sometimes I watch that movie, get stoned out, I forget what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm like, but did you have any music in that movie?
Oh, no, I would have liked to have music. No, we were just, the role was Tough Guy. We were at the Coney Island High, which was Jesse Malin's club, and Howie Pyro's, and we were there in the movie, and they had to come across us, so I looked like we were going to beat them up or something for a moment, but...
Oh, I think I remembered that part, actually.
We just looking mean and walking across the thing towards them, like...
Oh, like thugs in a dark alley?
Yeah, just inside the club, though. They had a little thing where the punk rockers show how tough they are. Some got knuckles and some got spikes, and it was... I like that. Was a good thing, too.
Oh, that's cool.
Same era, yeah.
I'm going to watch that movie again to see if I can find you in there. I'm going to say, hey, I know that guy.
Place. That was one of the first things that went when gentrification happened, was that club. That Giuliani guy was out to close everybody down, and he had the sound decibel measurer, and they would come out and fine $3,000 or something like that, yeah. The first thing to go was Coney Island High, so... I don't know what it is now. Probably...
I also see in your thing here, your bassist, Dante Rosati. Is that the guy you were talking about?
Yeah, he was in the project back then, yep.
Okay.
He was
you guys were on the Summer of Sam? You were on that?
Well, me, Dante, and Mark, we were with Kostabi, and like I said, he was going to have Psychotica on there, but then they really needed a punk rock thing, so he used us and submitted us, and then the attorney Steve Gabe was working with ABC, Sony, Universal, and then Windswept Entertainment. So we went over, and it was three-part series. One time, pay us the right combination of two of our songs into one song, so that then we can license it to them because it's free. Because you're making a new song. Then this other one was recording it. We got paid for that. And then another session was being filmed at CB's. It only amounted to being used in the television commercial.
Right.
It was better than nothing. I leaned over one day. I came home and looked at the TV. I'm like, wait, that looks familiar. Oh!
You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, but it was just for the TV commercial for like a couple of times they did it on there. But it was work, you know, and it got me my union card.
Yeah, that's cool. So let me ask, do you have a regular day job besides playing in the band Sewage?
If I wasn't struck by some vehicles as a bike messenger, I'd probably be doing acting full time or something like that. But I'm just recovering from that, and when I finally do, I'll get back at it on some stuff.
Gotcha.
You know?
Well, I listened a couple of weeks ago. I walked off a curb and sprained my ankle and have like a bunch of torn ligaments. So I guess anything's possible. You know.
Yeah. New York City traffic can be serious at times. I got a triple way. The city bus was not liable because they hit me secondary. So.
Oh, gotcha. So I see here also you did some commercial with Howard Stern or something like that.
Well, Howard Stern happened to do an audition for bands, and he wanted a theme song, and our agent was Eastwood Talent. It sounds like Clint Eastwood, but it's not. It's not.
Right.
You know, the guy, he sent us up for a lot of stuff. We met Howard Stern and stuff, but I don't think we got that gig. We actually got the David. He's at the Ed Sullivan theater back there. Mm-hmm. David. Anyhow, the Late Show with David Letterman. Yeah.
Oh, David
Letterman. Ended up doing a thing with him where he's bowling in the alley, and we're there. We get him too drunk and stuff, and he falls down, and I guess it's a silly little skit, but it was cool. We waited around all day for that, and they only filmed like 15 minutes. But that's how it is,
Right.
So a lot of preparation and waiting.
Because I actually was on the Howard Stern show once myself. A long time ago. It's a pretty funny story. I'll briefly tell it because I'm interviewing you, so I don't want to talk about myself, but it's kind of interesting. I was at Jamaica train station with a bunch of friends. I was probably in my 20s, and I see this guy standing there who looks a lot like Crackhead Bob, right? So my friends are like, "Nah, what's that?"
Crackhead Bob. Huh?
You remember Crackhead Bob from the Howard Stern show?
He had a couple of characters. I don't remember that one.
Well, this one I remember very well. So, and actually, it was right around the time in '99, like when the Private Parts movie came out, because I had just got the book. And I was at the train station. Me and my friends were going to the city to hang out in like Washington or Tompkins Square Park, one of them parks. And I see this guy, and I say to my friends, I'm like, holy shit, that guy looks like, Crackhead Bob from the Howard Stern show. They're like, no, it's not. So I, of course, walk up to him, and as soon as I walk, it was probably like in the summertime, so he had like short sleeves on, and I noticed he had all these like Howard Stern tattoos on his arm, so I walked up to him, right, and I said to the guy, my friends were dying, I'm like, hey, you, and he goes, yeah, I'm like, are you Crackhead Bob from the Howard Stern show? And then, he had this phrase, catch line that he used to say, I don't think so, right? That's what he used to say. So he actually fucking said it to me, and then he let out a smile, and then I went back to my friends, and I said, holy fucking shit, that's the guy from the Howard Stern show. Turns out he's getting on the same train as us. So we go on the train. I go down by his seat and I sit with him on the train. And I actually give him my phone number, right? This is fucking true fucking story. So my guy friends and my old friends are fucking laughing. They're like, oh, he's never going to call you. Well, guess what? 3 days later, I'm in my bedroom and my father bangs on my door and he goes, do you know a guy named Stuttering John? And I said, Dad, that's the fucking guy from the Howard Stern show. He goes, well, he's on the phone for you. So Crackhead Bob went back to Howard Stern's studio and told him that he met this woman on the train, and the woman gave the phone number, right? So
wow.
I get on the phone, and Stuttering John goes, is this, so and so, and and I said yes, and he's like, well, listen, I heard you met Crackhead Bob at the train station. Are you like his girlfriend? They're like asking me like a whole bunch of questions. And I said, no, I'm not his girlfriend, but turns out, like, I think he's a cool guy. I knew he was from your show. When I asked him and he responded to me, I don't think so. And then, like, Stuttering John starts laughing. And then Jackie the Joke Man made, like, a whole bunch of jokes. And then I spoke to Howard Stern briefly. And he's like, so, you picked up Crackhead Bob at the train station, right? Wow. And just kind of, it was, like, funny. I was on the show for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And this was back in, like, 1999. I was like 23 at the time or something, you know? And I didn't think anything of it, hung up. The show was cool. It was fun. And then like a few days later, Crackhead Bob calls my house again. And he goes, listen, I live in Amityville, but I'm taking the train to Wantor. Could you and your friends pick me up at the train station? And I said, yeah. So we went and picked him up, right? And I said, where are you going? He goes, well, actually, I'm going to see my daughters. I said, where do they live? Turns out they lived around the corner from me. So I guess to some degree, I started to help him to see his family again. And then I brought him into the dental office where I work. And my boss at the time was like, I want his autograph. I said, I already got him to sign my crackhead, you know, his Crackhead Bob and his picture and in the Howard Stern Private Parts book. And at the time, so he wrote on a piece of paper his name, Crackhead Bob, and gave it to the dentist I work with. And then there was guys in there fixing the air conditioner, and they were gawking and ghouling that I had Crackhead Bob. So he signed like a lot of autographs that day at the dental office, right? And would you know, the dentist I worked for fixed his teeth for nothing. They gave him like laminates and stuff. And then he went back to the Howard Stern show, and then Howard Stern called me again and goes, you fixed up your boyfriend's teeth. I was like, he goes, he doesn't look like a crackhead any longer. It was like really funny. So then
you didn't take his job away by doing that, did you?
No. He like, no, it was actually like, it was a really like, and I hung out with him a few years, and then he moved to Texas, and I didn't see him anymore. And then in 2000 and something, I was working for another dental office, and Howard Stern's parents were patients there. So I then brought the book in, and they signed the book for me also. And they also got Howard to sign the book for me. So I actually had like a whole bunch of autographs in that Private Parts book that he like wrote, or whatever the hell it was. So it was kind of funny, you know. But yeah, I actually had a couple of interactions with Howard Stern in my younger years. I haven't spoken to him since, but because then, of course, you know, Crackhead Bob had passed away about like 8 or 6 years ago or something like that. So I don't know exactly what happened. I think his daughter told me he had heart failure, which obviously look where he got the name Crackhead Bob from. So I mean, like, it's bound to catch up with you at some point, I guess, you know.
Can't stay awake on crack forever.
Well, exactly. That's why they say no to crack, right? Or crack kills, as they say.
But it's something that you never know who you'll meet out there in the world.
Exactly. I mean,
railroad station, you know?
Exactly. I mean, that's, you know, like, I would suspect to meet I've met other famous people in my history of life. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. And because of that, I got to go on the Howard Stern show, not once, but twice.
Hey, that's cool.
So that was pretty, because I was like, oh, he had the thing with, I think I remembered that when you were doing that thing with Howard Stern. Then you also did some stuff with, what else here? I was reading. What is the thing with the auto, I can't pronounce it, of the band Autonatons?
Oh no! One of our bass players was in the Autonatons.
Oh, okay.
He helped out, like, when we were doing a reality documentary. They were filming in the Lower East Side. It was the same people worked with Leftover Crack and with Jello Biafra's project over here. So they picked us up, and we were working with that. So he jumped on, and we played some shows around and filmed some stuff. It's I guess you'd have to look at on YouTube. What's left of it now is under, it's called Team Spider.
Okay.
So you could probably find it, the story of Spike. But yeah, there's a ton of times. They were cool. Met them in Staten Island, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
That's Wu-Tang territory.
Oh, okay, yeah, Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah, gotcha. I think one of my friends listens to Wu-Tang Clan. I always hear him talking about it. Like, you know, I think he even went as far as getting like the symbol tattooed on his like shoulder or something, you know.
It's pretty serious, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it says here that for a decade you weren't doing any music. Is that because you were in those accidents?
Yeah, there's some accidents will hold you back some, you know.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But when you did come back, you did an EP called Out of Hell Alive. That's pretty interesting. Sorry to laugh, but that's a really great title for an EP.
Yeah, that one had what happened to the punk rock and rock and roll revolution. Since we got the rights back to that song, we were able to release it. But I pulled that album off of online because I wanted it done on something else.
Right.
And eventually it turned out to be on the Italian sessions, all that stuff. In 2017, Professional Punkers took us over there to tour in 2015, and they were putting us up on some festivals with the Butchers, punk rockers, and it was good stuff. But when I came back and did the Italian sessions, and everything was good until there was a COVID thing came around, you know.
Oh, I have a question for you. I saw earlier in the bio that I was reading to, introduce you on the show or do your introduction. I had said that you guys opened up for the final fatal show of the infamous scum rocker G.G. Allen on June 27th, 1993. So, some people don't really know about him. I actually knew somebody that corresponded with him while he was in prison. Okay, yeah. So you and I was explaining that, for people who don't know who he is, he used to wipe take shit and throw his own shit at the crowd and roll shit on himself, and he would roll around on broken glass. Could you have anything to say when you guys opened up for him?
Well, he had been in the area for a while already because they had filmed "Hated in the Nation." I think it was Todd Phelps or something did that, and he was hanging around us and our squats and all of our little shows and stuff, and he was okay hanging around, just getting drunk. But when it came time for the show, the guy's going to break things. And my bandmates, they didn't want him using any of the stuff. So it was kind of a contradiction because he wanted to film stuff on it too. Before we played, he wanted to just do a quick film set. And we were like, no. And it almost made the show not happen because he was going to walk up. He was angry.
Because he wanted to break shit and they wouldn't let him.
And then we had to let
he was having a fucking a G.G. Allen temper tantrum.
Nah, he did not break it though, luckily.
Oh, well, that's good.
He broke the other band stuff later on during the show.
Well, he picked up
a really short set.
He got 3 songs or something like that, and they're all under a minute long.
And the deal is that with punk rock had some success, and after a while, punk rock was banned because when hardcore punk came around, some people started punching holes in the wall, like when you got the skinheads coming into the scene.
Oh yeah, I remember that stuff. Yeah,
and the whole thing was blamed on punk rock though, so they said no punk rock until they figured out it was the hardcore guys. But by that point, punk rock was already took the hit, and so he wasn't allowed to play some shows and. Then he had to get on other things. He had to out tough other people and, one up on everyone else until the point that there's nothing left to do but throw poop at people and pee on them and molest people with his 3mm penis. And, he was going all out. And it was a show.
Well, yeah, he was trying to be different. And, obviously, I mean, have you ever seen other people besides, okay, here's one, Gwar? And they're Gwar would throw goat piss and semen and urine on people. maybe Gigi Allen started a trend, right? And then you had Carnivore, who would throw blood on people, right? Like blood, and Pete Steele, of course, was in that before Typo Negative. So he'd have blood on people, throw blood on. You would go to a Carnivore show wearing the whitest outfit you could find and come out looking like you came out of a massacre, right?
Yeah.
So. And then you have people like Gigi Allen that are throwing shit and urine on you. So you're wearing white and you come out with doo-doo and fucking brown and yellow stains on your fucking clothes, right?
Oh, yeah. And there was also the thing, too, because all the skinheads were trying to beat him up because he didn't like skinheads. And so then they would try to beat him up, and then they could not beat him up. And then he'd be throwing poop at them. It was a real circus. Yeah.
Oh, yuck. Yeah, sounds like a real shitty good time over there.
He liked it a lot. He would roll around in that broken glass. My friend was up there, and he loved Gigi Allen a lot more than I did, and he died my friend died on my toilet the day after Gigi Allen passed away.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He pulled an Elvis. That's terrible. I'm sorry to make a terrible joke. That's
he had some stuff called Body Bag.
Oh, okay.
That was popular in the neighborhood of the East Village back then.
Right.
And I think it was probably just battery acid.
Probably.
People injected or something. But yeah, he caught a dose of that. But
that's terrible. I'm sorry. That's terrible. Well, listen, maybe Gigi Allen was a mentor to him to some degree. I don't know, maybe, because, I have a lot of friends that were heavily into punk back in the Gigi Allen days, and they're all fucking sadists, every single last one of them. They're into, sadomasochism. They ask me questions. I'm like, yeah, I've done some stuff, but not as extreme as that. I mean, there are people in BDSM that have a shit fetish, a scat fetish. And I think maybe Gigi Allen may have started that to some degree. I don't know.
He just made it popular.
Yeah, exactly. He just made more light onto it. Let me just, throw some shit at people. It's almost like he was like a human ape, if you think about it. Monkeys throw shit at people.
Yeah, they do.
So maybe Gigi Allen was a little bit more primitive than we thought he was.
Yeah. No more scum rock, though.
Yeah, no, I know. Exactly.
There's some bands that sing about sex or sing about some stuff, but nobody's really making the Gigi Allen level. No.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, if you spit on somebody now, it's assault. Can you imagine going to a punk rock show and having all the people arrested there because they're spitting on people? Oh, God. It's the way the world is. But yeah, it's true. For the most part, a lot of people back in the day, they associated with, vandalism with punk rock music. But it's not really about that.
Nah, wasn't. Wasn't really. I mean, sometimes we'd hang out with the graffiti artists, but I mean, that doesn't mean punk rock was about vandalism.
Right. No, I mean, graffiti's different because you're putting art and you're putting your tag on certain things. For instance, my friends that are in the band Elephant Killer, well, they have a special symbol that they use, and people, I don't know if it's them or people that are like them, they tag a spray painted elephant on the side of buildings, and you'll know when you see it because it's Elephant Killer, And if Elephant Killer, they named their band after a heavy-duty cocaine from the early 80s and 90s that was killing people. Yeah, so from the Lower East Side of Manhattan or the Bronx or somewhere the hell it is, that was a heavy-duty drug that was I'm pretty sure it was cocaine that was elephant killing people, so they call it Elephant Killer. So they named their band after Elephant Killer. And I don't know if you ever listen to them. They have this really funny song that says "Santa brought me Coke." You got to listen to it. It's fucking hilarious. It has Christmas music in the beginning, and then it's they're kind of a thrash cross punk type band also. And they're from the city also. They're from the Bronx area. So I'm sure you've heard of them. Maybe I can get you guys to play a show with them or something.
We have at the Kingsland before.
Oh, you have? Okay, so you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, maybe something again in the near future.
Okay, cool.
Could work.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, you guys are like, I mean, you're more punkier than they are. They're more of like a thrash metal punk crossover type band, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good description.
Yeah. So I've seen them play like numerous times. So, all right. So, how old were you when you first got into playing music? If you don't like mind me, the people want to know these things.
I was just like 9 or 11 years old. Just had some acoustic guitar, no lessons, and then was trying to play along to stuff like Ramones and Sabbath, and then there was also that new wave stuff, you know, on UHF TV and you know all that stuff, and just trying to figure it out, and then eventually I got some. I think I even played a Bryan Adams song.
Hey, listen, you know what? Music is music, you know. Like, but did you ever have lessons, or did you teach yourself?
I did get lessons eventually.
Okay.
I got some. They started off with classical lessons, and then I thought it was too. I didn't really want to play classical, but the only other teacher available was country, so I had the country guy show me how to play rock music, because rock and roll is half blues, you know, R&B, and half country, and I figured it would work, and it helped some.
Well, think about it. Like, you know, recently I took my older son to see this guy named Guy Valek, who's like a Jimi Hendrix tribute guy, and he was like, "Holy shit, this guy's great." And I said, "Well, you gotta like Hendrix, because Hendrix is like early metal, like to some degree, or early rock music, you know." So I said, "You should know the history." So I make him go see all these people for the history of music, you know, and. And think about it, Hendrix was very blues influenced also. He was like, he used to hang out with Buddy Miles. I don't know if you remember when he did the Band of Gypsies album. Buddy Miles was on several of their, like, songs. You know, like, especially that song Changes, Buddy Miles was in it also. You know, I don't know if he was singing it, or I think he was singing while Hendrix was playing guitar even. So, like, and Noel Redding was on bass, and I forget who their drummer was. I'm like pretty bad with the drummers. But, like, you know, so that's kind of bluesy stuff. Remember, like, Hendrix did a lot of that blues-type music? So, listen, blues, I think, you know, if you're going to learn to be in a band, especially, like, to different genres, you have to learn different types of music anyway, because they all each have different techniques. You know, and as you know, as a guitarist, I don't have to tell you that. I'm sure you know that. So, like, you know.
True. Yeah, I think Hendrix played in a couple of bands before he had his own band. He was, was he with Sly and the Family Stone a little bit?
I think, he was actually, yes.
Something.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
And, I mean, look at that. Like a lot of people don't know this, but Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, he was in the Yardbirds before he was ever in Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
So, you know, everyone, and look, they played, like, you know, the Yardbirds were like, what, 60s and 50s music?
Yes.
So, think about it. And I always say, and you'll probably think, before I say this, but I always tell people this. You know, 50s music, like the Beach Boys and, you know, other people of that genre, you know, then you have, like, the Misfits, which I totally adore. They are, like, sped up 50s music.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Especially the one of their first albums, The Legacy of Brutality. That album is all, like, sped up 50s music. I love it. I think it's awesome.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Very correct.
Like, very correct. So, you have an album out now, right?
It's an LP on vinyl.
All right.
Punk
Awesome.
Not Dead.
I know. I listened to some of it. It's actually very good. I like it a lot.
I'm glad you do like it. It's the side A's, the punk rock side, and then we let the record label guy reproduce it and make like techno dance stuff out of those songs on the other side. So interesting. And that's his expertise. He worked a lot of hip hop and techno stuff. So, you know, if he's putting out the songs on his label, I guess you got to give him some leeway. And he, you know, keeps him interested and active, because a lot of times the labels dump stuff on the artist to do more errands, and by this factor being in there, now he's doing more work than labels would do sometimes. You know, it's helpful. Wow.
And the other song I like, and I was going to play it while I had you on air, is called Departments of Corrections.
Yep.
What is that song about? I'm assuming it's about somebody who went to jail.
It's actually just based on how slavery, they say they fought a civil war over it, but it's been legal since the founding days, as long as, you know, they could put a penalty or fine on you, and, you know, then it was okay with the government. But for, you know, so the America's not really so free is what the point of it is. It's
gotcha.
Just kind of, it's like a blues thing. I don't know if you got the original version though. You probably have the Italian Sessions version.
Let me see. I'll play it, then you'll let me know if it is afterwards. Okay. I'm going to play it right now, so you're going to have to listen to your own song for 3 minutes and 39 seconds.
That's fine.
All right, so we're going to listen to Department of Corrections from Spike Polite and the band Sewage right now. So every one of my listeners will get to listen to, and who knows, maybe you'll have a whole surplus of EPs going out the door. Hold on.
Years in the valley, got the blue shackles, chains, I'm where we stay, with anger and nose. The system tried to beat you really up. Oh, you'll be busting steel out in the yard. Hey, ball and joint, slavery. When you lock your door, the door ain't okay. Department of Correction. They're not fixing anything. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Corruption. Working in a prison factory and don't mess up visual on me and the yard going crazy. The system trying to beat you really up. You'll be busting steel out in the yard. Hey, ball and joint, slavery. When you lock your door and go away, okay. Department of Correction. They're not fixing anything. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Corruption. They fought a civil war, 1860s America, to banish the concept slavery. Poor people sent away, there've been more prisons every day, but it's been going on since the dawn of America. Department of Correction. They're not fixing anything. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Corruption.
I like that song. So is that the Italian version or the other version?
I couldn't really hear too clearly through the phone. The phone made it sound kind of like I was underwater at the beach trying to listen to people on land. And sometimes I could make it out, and I think it was the original.
Yeah, it sounds like original because it sounds very like
Energetic?
Yes, very energetic. Yes.
Yeah, the second one was a little bit less energy because I was like, didn't I record this already from the last time for you? And they're like, just do it again. I'm like, oh, okay.
No, I like it. It has it's very good actually. It's funny. I think you played at Beery's the day after I first sprained my ankle because my friend's band played. Yeah, my friend's band played the day before you. Scapository. They do a ska punk thing.
Yes.
So my friend Dominic is the drummer for that band, and I wanted to go, but I texted him and I said, "Listen, I can't come tonight." And he's like, "Why?" And I told him, I'm like, "Oh, I'm a dumb fucking asshole. I tripped off a curb, and I thought I ripped my Achilles tendon because when I first fell, I heard a pop, and I was in a lot of pain." But turns out it was just other ligaments ripping. But he was like pretty bummed that I couldn't go because that was they were doing their album or EP or something was out that day, and I felt terrible. And then he's like, "Oh, I think your friend's band is playing the next day." And then I saw it. That weekend, unfortunately, I was like in bed with like an air cast on, But I saw that you did play at Beery's on January 6th because I was planning to go that whole weekend because it was like punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on that week. It was pretty active.
Yeah, it was
Usually
awesome.
After New Year's, there's a big drop-off with nothing going on.
Right. Yeah, actually, my friend's band played there last weekend. This band, Mr. Blister. And actually, it's kind of funny. He does a Ramones tribute band called The Ramones, and it's Rawmones, Ramones. And they actually knew I think they knew Marky Ramone, these guys. So it's funny,
That's
Dee Dee,
cool.
And they know Marky, so it's like, here's my, Ramones connection again. So,
I know Marky, too, though.
Oh, do you?
I was once, after the Spike Lee thing we did with Sewage, we kind of took a break for a bit, and I played guitar for Jesse Camp and the 8th Street Kids. He was the video jockey on, with the show all the time, playing the videos and all that. So they gave him a band before he left, and it was Hollywood Records, and me and the guy from the Craze and the guy from the Murder Junkies, they put all of us in his band, and Marky Ramone, Kevin James, and Reverend Run were working with us then. And ever since then, Marky, he'll send a Facebook poke or a little something like that, or a like up on stuff, and it was good work. It was the most amount of money they spent the budget of a video at that time. They probably surmounted that since, but it was pretty good video. Marky is the janitor, and then while we're playing on stage and I'm smashing the guitar, and he's like, whatever. Reverend Run is all into it, and Kevin James cannot arrest us. But yeah,
where was I going to tell you? So where can people buy your EP or your album, your vinyl? Where can they get it?
They can go to spikesewage.com. That's SPIKESEWAGE.com or solidbaserecords.com.
You guys have a really cool website, by the way. I went on your website and checked out a few things, and you got a lot of. Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, it's nice. It's like gray and pink, and it's like bright. It's like a punk website, which is awesome. So, right, it's like that gray and pink type color on there.
Well, the record has some gray and pink. Yeah, it does kind of resemble Sex Pistols in a way. Now that
it's okay, but listen.
The back cover.
But you know what? That's okay, because you know what? You pay homage to the people that you grew up listening to, right?
So yeah,
yeah. Why not? I mean, you kind of remind me a little bit of Sid Vicious to some degree.
Maybe this album is so more, yeah.
But I'm not saying that you resemble him like physically wise, but you got the spiked. I've seen like you with the hair all spiked out, and you got that vest on with all the spikes and then studs on it, which is awesome. And total punk rock look, of course. You have to have that. You're in a punk band. I wouldn't expect otherwise, you know. And here's besides the Ramones, I guess you were Sex Pistols. Who are 5 bands that really wanted you to play punk music? Here's a question for you.
I played rhythm guitar with Cheetah Chrome when Guns N' Roses covered his song, and I always liked the Dead Boys, so
okay.
I got to do that at least for a bit before he moved to Tennessee,
right?
In '94, and then Ramones, of course. Got to play Joey Ramone's birthday bashes at the Continental Divide. A lot with Furious George, often. See Walter Lure. Well, let me see. There's a band I like from England called the Buzzcocks.
Oh, I remember the Buzzcocks. That's pretty cool. I like them a lot.
They could sing, and the music is still simplistic, 3-chord, raw, but it has melody. I like that kind of stuff, and worked with didn't work exactly with the Dead Kennedys, but when I was singing for Reagan Youth, we would go on tour with them, but Jello had left the band, unfortunately, and they had skipped singing for them at the time. That was a good thing. D.I. Somebody else. I like X. You know the band X and Blatz. X.
They sound a little familiar. They're a punk band, right?
Yeah, they're from L.A.
Okay.
They're good, and then the Blatz are another good one. And D.I. I like some New York and Cali bands a lot. Yeah, I guess D.I. had some good stuff. Richard Hung Himself, and
oh yeah, I remember Richard Hung Himself.
Decline of Western Civilization type of stuff, and yeah,
wow,
that's about it. Like the CDs and Decline of Western Civilization.
So that was a good question to ask you. Really had to make you think for a second, right? You're like,
It's good to work with some of the people in life later, you know.
Oh, of course.
Then you feel like a sense of resolution. Yeah, it's good. There's more people to work with. Like now, we have, since that Pandemonium album you were playing, we have Michelle Schacht in the band, and this is the second release. The first one was an EP, Pandemonium, and now she's on this one also, the LP, and it's good working with her too. I like her punk rock songs before she got too Americana, but Americana's what made her go beyond punk rock a bit. But now she's back to it with us.
Right. So there's you and there's Michelle, and who else is in the band?
We got this guy, The Beast. He plays in some bands such as Scum City, who are like a current band, and Blackout Shoppers and Iconicide. He plays in our band also. But we have our original drummer, Anthony, because sometimes schedules don't work out. So
right.
It's a 3-piece, me, Michelle, and Anthony on the drums. But I like to just sing, and then we'll have The Beast on the drums, and Anthony will play the guitar, and I can just sing, and it's probably better that way.
Well, then you become a 4-piece band, so you have less activity. You can focus on dancing around and singing, and keeping the crowd engaged while you have another guitarist, a bass player, and your drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, just being able to move to the music instead of being stuck at that. It's
with the guitar all day long.
A ball and chain. Yeah, it's like a ball and chain. Even if you have a wireless, because then you still have to stay stuck at the microphone.
Exactly.
So even with yeah.
No, I get it. Listen, it's all about enticing the crowd and getting them riled up so they dance for you guys while you're singing and stuff and have a good time,
I mean, like Mike Ness of Social Distortion is good and all, and you can jump around and jump some, but you still got to get back to the microphone.
Of course. Yep.
Playing as a three-piece.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, I have my friends, the band Prong, they're a three-piece band.
Prong.
What's that?
Band, you said Prong?
Yeah, Prong. They're a three-piece metal thrash crossover band. And Tommy actually used to work at CBGB's when he was younger. Remember I told you about him?
Yeah, now I didn't know if you were saying prong or prong, but prong.
No, Prong, like
Yeah.
Prong. Yeah, so they're a three-piece band. Tommy sings, plays guitar. He has this guy, Christopher Dean, who actually is Nita Strauss's bass player, plays bass for him. And then he also has this young kid from out in Suffolk County. I think his name is Tyler Joseph. He's an amazing fucking drummer. But he's also in another band called Electrocutioner also. So, you probably have heard of them. They're around a little bit. But they're a three-piece band, and they're fucking tight for a three-piece band. So, I mean, but again, he can only go so far, like on stage with his guitar, walking around, dancing, whatever, while he's playing. But yeah, he's got to run back to the microphone every time,
Yep.
So that's the thing, But it's cool. Listen, they make it work. But yeah, it's like you're married, to the microphone and the guitar the whole time,
Stuck like a ball and chain. Yep.
The ball and chain.
Department of Corrections.
You should make a song called Ball and Chain now that we just talked about that.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. So here's a question. How do you balance your job with your music stuff?
You have to check the calendars and see when everybody has availability. And you got to find. We've been able to do it. Still, we can't go as a 4-piece, but we'll go as a 3-piece, and then instead of Anthony going, it'll be me, the Beast, and Michelle.
Right.
And it's a balance on the schedule. The Beast, he's like an assistant coach over at Yorkville School, so he's got the kids jogging in the yard.
Okay, gotcha.
And Michelle's doing her thing on the computer with her law stuff, fighting for musicians' rights and everything. And then when the acting comes, I'm there on set. And the last thing I was doing consistently was Gotham, which splintered off into Blacklist, because that guy was also Don Falcone from the Blacklist. And, done some marijuana shows. Like, I forgot even what it's, I can't remember what it's called, the name of the marijuana show.
Why, you guys were talking about marijuana?
No, the whole TV show was about marijuana, and it's a delivery service from a time before it was legal. And
a documentary type thing.
No, it's a comedy.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, just various stuff you work on, because New York City is a TV film. It's a union state, union city.
Yes.
So naturally, it's going to be here. That's about it. Checking the schedules, trying not to get tied up with something. Like, I don't want to get on any plays or anything. Like, I don't want to do anything Broadway, because then you're just stuck for 6 months, 9 months, or whatever it is.
Right.
You'll never work again. So maybe it's good to be a day player on the film sets.
Right.
Of course, more speaking lines is better than just standing in the background. But sometimes, even the background is okay if they put you up in their news feed and on social media and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The more
exposure.
Yeah, exactly. The more exposure you get, then, listen, I mean, I from time to time will keep music from the bands that have come on and just play them during shows all the time. So that's good too, Like, my opener for the show is this band Cestus, who I became friendly with from TikTok, believe it or not. And they are, 5 guys in the band that have been in the band since they were in, like, high school together. And all they play is heavy metal, and they have, like, a lot of really good fucking songs. So
the name of their band, their name of their band is like from Seinfeld, Festivus.
No, Cestus. You know what? And you should know this. Cestus. I'll tell you what a Cestus is. And as a punk rocker, you'll appreciate this. Cestus is, and it's spelled Cestus, right? Cestus is
okay. Now
you know what I'm talking about. You're a punk rocker. You know.
No, I think I've seen it. I think I have seen a shirt like that. Someone, Krusty was wearing it once.
Yeah, it's a Cestus is what it is a Roman gauntlet that is put on the arms of soldiers, and it has it's almost like brass knuckles, and you can punch somebody and really they have spikes on them. It's a gauntlet with spikes on it. So as you're a punk rocker, you should get yourself a pair of Cestuses.
I think Batman also has that on his uniform.
Probably, yes. He's got a gauntlet with spikes on it. It's called the Cestus.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Pretty interesting. Like Roman times. A Roman, something from Gladiator. They would have Cestus in Gladiator. You know?
Yes, they would, yep.
So that's, because it's funny because when I had interviewed them on the show a few times, I had said to them, and actually the technical pronunciation and the spelling is actually a little bit different. A Roman cestus is spelled Ceastus, or almost like cestus, almost pronounced differently. But it's Americanized, so they refer to it as a cestus, which is kind of cool, you know. But yeah, they play all kinds of heavy metal, and I really like their music, and I kind of use their stuff to open the show. But I do play, other bands' music, too. And, I kind of like to keep things, fresh. So who knows, I might I know you sent me the song Florida, but I don't think I uploaded. I only put, 2 in there. So maybe on next week's show, you keep sending me stuff, I'll put it on the show,
Okay.
Keep, I like the punk stuff. Here's a funny, I was going to do this. We know Sheena's a punk rocker, but how did you become a punk rocker? That was my funny Ramones joke.
Yeah. Becoming a punk rocker. That's just what was going on at the time, There was some conditions.
Yeah.
Certain people were tired of some disco music.
Oh God, I hate disco music.
But the city was going through tough times, and the neighborhoods were tough, and
teenage angst, right?
Tough. And then you seen some things that were wrong, and you just had to stand up just to survive. And then in doing so, you kind of became a hero. And it was in some political rally or protest or riot or something, and you didn't even mean to be caught up in it. And that's just what it was, the Lower East Side was pretty political.
Yeah.
But the squatters didn't really win. I mean, in the end, they won something when Giuliani gave them the couple buildings after 9/11.
Oh, yeah, and they had squatters' rights because of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
But they always used to kind of, that's over with.
No, I know.
Gentrification. But I miss that thing of the artists and the musicians could afford to live in New York, and it was affordable, so then they could get a job at the sex video shop or the record store or whatever.
Right.
Or I had a job working for this place called Leather Rose, where we made leather pants and spiked bracelets for people like Kiss or Madonna or whoever would buy them from the store,
What was it called, Leather Rose? I think I remember that store.
It was a South African couple. They ran it over on 9th Street between 1st and A in the city, and
yep.
I was there sewing up leather pants and studding up bracelets and stuff. But it was good to see it get used.
Yeah, why not? Listen, well, that's punk rock is studs and leather. Think about it, and amongst other things. But I wear a pair of boots now that have spikes on the front of them. It's pretty awesome. I still like to wear those cestuses and stuff when I go out to punk shows. Why not? Matter of fact, I have in my drawer there, I have I've probably seen in some of my pictures, I have a leather choker with spikes on it.
That sounds cool.
It is cool. It's something you should wear that. It's like something you should be wearing.
I always used to have that the neck collar thing, but I mean, there's only so many times after your wardrobe gets lost or stolen, or through traumatic events of life, that maybe you don't get every last item again.
No, I know.
It's close enough to it,
Well, if you have a wish list, you should put it on there. Maybe one of your fans will buy it for you. That's a good idea. You have fans and admirers. Have your. So if you guys were to make a like a fan club for your band, what would you guys call yourselves? What would be the name of your? Like Megadeth has the. I forget what they call their people, but there's like each metal band has like, all right, the Avenged Sevenfold has like the Bat Club, like the or Bat Country. So like they have, or they call them Death Bats, like fans. Like if you guys were to find a name for like a fan club for yourself, what would you guys call your fans?
It's easy. During the 70s, when the urban myth of the alligator coming out of the sewer and eating people, which is the theme of our band already, there was another movie that was like an underground, cult classic called Chud, Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller.
So CHUD?
CHUD. I think they'd be Chud.
Yeah, Chud.
Yeah, they would be coming out of the sewers also, eating people. It was a good era for New York. Well, like not really, but I mean they were trying to make a good film.
Wasn't that the movie Alligator with the crocodile in the sewer?
I don't even remember what it was called, to be honest with you.
I think it was called Alligator. I think it was.
Now we have that here in the subway on the L and the A, C, and E platforms here at 14th Street and 8th Avenue. Now they also put that same logos over at Union Square above ground, and that's my band logos that's shared. It's pretty nice to see it around.
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, that's right. You had the alligator with the spikes on its wrist, right?
He's coming out of the alligator.
He's coming out of the sewer. Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cute. That's an alligator coming out of the sewer. And he's got like a wristband with spikes on. That's pretty cool.
I think how the movie starts was that the New York family was in Florida vacationing, and they bought the alligator and the kid brought it back or something, because back then there was a lot less restrictions.
The people could have it. Yeah. Look, when I was growing up, I had I adopted, you're going to laugh, my sister's husband's friend lived in Florida. He moved back to New York. He got this Burmese python, and she was like 7 feet long when I adopted her, because he was going to Florida, and he's like, oh, I can't take it back there. They're not allowed there now. I said, really? He goes, yeah, people dump them in the Everglades. So sure enough, I had this Burmese python for about 17 years, and no joke. This thing, she grew to be 19 feet long and was the size of like 2 of my legs put together at the time. So I had to give her to my friend that had a reptile shop because she outgrew her enclosure. She needed like her own room. And when he had her, he was feeding her like live chickens because she was so big. So people back then, like, you couldn't take it back to Florida with you. So they dumped them in the sewer system.
Yep, right down the toilet.
Yep.
So that's where we get our thing from, because basically it's like from my childhood of living in the squats and subway surfing and going in all those political protests. We were all underground people, and living in the squat, like on Taxi. Remember Jim on Taxi?
Yes.
Remember, he always lived in an abandoned building.
Yes.
And then he would stay with Louie and burn his house down. Kind of like that, like the old New York. We'd be living there in the underground, and that's about the gist of it, man.
Well, I do like that your A is an anarchist A, by the way. I do appreciate that, because that's like, traditional punk has anarchists in it. Like, that's a good thing. That means, that's punk people are standing up for certain things when they put anarchy symbols on things,
There's still the anarchist group over here. They run a lot of stuff in Brooklyn, and they'll be over in the Lower East Side, MACC. And sometimes I'll go to some meetings. It's basically charity stuff for the community, raising food.
Right.
I guess now, to just be a compassionate person, you have to be an anarchist.
You would think it would be the opposite, but that's okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that's what was different. It was
right. It was much
protests
different.
And rallies, and then the cops would try to beat you up, and then you fight with the cops, and that was that. Now it's different. It's only different, calm and so.
Oh, hey, look, they say things change for a reason. They may not be for the better, but maybe they are. Who knows? But then you get people that are ripping down statues and that old crazy madness, so who knows? So the world we live in today is different. That's why it's good that there's new punk music coming out, because it reflects all the shit that's going on now.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of stuff. They say it's the age of Aquarius now. I don't know if that's long term, or I know it should be in the astrological sign of Aquarius now, but I didn't know it was an actual age of it, according to one of my friends.
Well, back then they had that movie Hair, right? And had the dawning of Aquarius. Now it's the age of Aquarius.
I like that song.
Me too. I like that song a lot, actually. And I loved when it was in 40-year-old version at the end. It was hilarious. But that's a great fucking song. You guys should do a cover of that song.
I saw the film about that.
What, Hair?
About them playing up in the park. No, them doing that song up in Harlem, up at the park, and then it kicking off and them getting into the movie and all that. Yeah. That's old stuff, but that's great stuff. That's what made like America it is today, and music in particular. So I'm always like one for old buff on music stuff, like to kind of make a comparison of some sort. So it's kind of cool we're talking about that. So now bands from that time period, like you mentioned, did you like any bands like that, like Sly and the Family Stone, or any when you were younger? I did like some of that. I liked Peter Tosh and Bob Marley stuff, and I liked Nichols without saying. I liked the Commodores. Lionel Richie was okay with the Commodores when he was
with John
I liked
Holt,
all that doo-wop stuff and so let me see. Oh, here's some stuff. But this is not that kind of music anymore. This is just an era stuff. I like the TV show Sha Na Na.
Oh my God, I love that stuff. That's hilarious. I remember when they made their debut on Laverne and Shirley.
Yes.
Right? Do you remember that? Look, that's 50s music, but see, you should like 50s music. You play punk, And the
Ramones got a debut on the Sha Na Na show.
Exactly,
also.
Correct. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Sha Na Na was even on the Muppet Show at one point. Do you remember that?
Oh man!
Now I'm disclosing my age to you. I may look young, but I'm a little older than you think I am. Because most of the people that come on the show, like a couple of months ago, I had this band Lockdown on. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're from like a Long Island here. They're like a thrash hardcore band. And I actually know some of them from my younger days, and I reconnected with Eric actually at the Carnivore AD show, and we then we became friends on social media. And he goes, "I know you from the past," and turns out we hung out with like the same type of people. And so recently they were on the show, and we were talking about I lost my train of thought for a second. Something to do with their music, and they were talking about punk bands or something, and they talked about Sha Na Na and some other stuff. It was kind of funny. Like, so the guy that with the guitarist for the show was like, oh, he made a comment. He's like, well, I like to make commentary about, old shows from the 70s, but you probably wouldn't know that because you're young. And I said to him, oh, contraire. I said, I'm going to be 49 this summer. I'm not as young as you think. He thought I was like 35 years old or something. And I said, no, I'm a little older than that. So I kind of surprised him when he made this, joke about Three's Company, and I caught on to it immediately, and he was like surprised, because he didn't think I knew about that. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, I know Sha Na Na was on the Muppet Show. I remember that. I think I was a little young. I remember when Kiss was on the Muppet Show also.
Oh man, I remember Kiss had their own TV show too, and in the TV show they had a fake Kiss made out of robots that had to replace them, and then Kiss got fired, and they had to go fight for their rights back and get their job back or something.
I think I remember hearing about that, actually. Yeah, there was like something was going on with them, and then I remember they had the whole controversy when they took their makeup off. Like, that was like, people like to, try to, but that's terrible. They like, but, bands, yeah, some of them have to fight for their rights back, which is awful, Yeah,
the record industry was never that great, but
yeah,
it was always something. But there's always worse.
Oh, that could be worse. You're right. There could be something 10 times worse than that.
Because there was the thing was it was like 4 pennies on the dollar of an album sale to the artist.
Mm. Well, yeah, back then, I think the record companies would take most of their money, correct? Yes or no?
They definitely did. Yeah. Now there's only, like 0.004 cents per people.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not really too. You gotta do shows and you gotta sell merchandise.
Yeah, exactly. Merch is where it's all at, exactly. So do you have any music like on Spotify or anything like that?
Yeah, I still do, and I can't take it down all the way yet until I can control it better. It does, like I was saying, it's just like up there and free and stuff, and then I don't know, you can't really capitalize on everything to get people to buy.
No, I
everything.
know, exactly.
It's already free. You got to get them to come to a show or buy it or really push.
Yeah, and merch is where you make a lot of your money. What kind of merch do you guys sell at shows?
We have T-shirts, we have vinyl, we have buttons.
You guys have stickers?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool. You guys should make some patches or do like some, remember I was talking about earlier maybe doing some like spiked bracelets with your name of your band on it. Because that's actually...
that would work, yeah.
That's a good idea, because think about that. Like, punk people like me, like when I actually went and saw the Misfits, you're going to laugh. I had my punk choke collar on with the spikes. I had boots with spikes on. I was fucking, like... You gotta dress up for the punk shows, So, that'd be something cool. I would definitely buy, like, a bracelet that had spikes on it, that had your name on it, like, for your band and stuff. Even, like, wristbands with your name and your band on it. That's a cool idea. Remember those wristbands you would wear when you were working out? They're, like, made out of cotton and shit.
Oh, yeah. I know, yeah.
Like those, or you can even do like drink koozies. Like people collect koozies for bands. Those like things you put your beer in.
Oh, I've seen some bands with that kind of stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they sell. Believe it or not, I have a friend that collects them. So every show he goes to, he makes sure he buys like 1 or 2 of each koozie that they have there because he collects the damn things. So the guy, I think he's got like over like. I would say 100, 200 of the things. So people buy stuff like that. Yeah. To give you some ideas to get some merch,
Yeah. More merch is better, yeah.
I mean, listen, I've worked merch. I worked merch for, you ever hear of a band called A Pale Horse Named Death?
That's from the Bible. Yeah.
Right, but there's a band, and they're kind of semi-retired, but they are coming back. Sal Abrascato, who's the original drummer for Typo Negative, when he left Life of Agony, he started this band called A Pale Horse Named Death, and they're really good, actually. They're like a gothic doom metal band. Now he's doing a new thing called King of the Locusts, and so he did say on his Facebook live feed, I think it was yesterday, that even though A Pale Horse Named Death is slightly retired, he would be doing at his new, band, A Pale Horse Named Death shows, like some of the songs. So I think that's really good, because I actually have a couple of the albums, and I was kind of mad that they retired or, broke up or whatever. So now he's going to do his new thing. But listen, I'm a big fan of all types of music, so I look forward to hearing his new stuff. But I also look forward to hearing, some of the A Pale Horse Named Death. But I worked merch for him. And when I worked merch for him, I sold a lot of merch. Like, he had these two, bathrobes, really nice bathrobes with an album and t-shirt and sign thing, and he sold them for a lot of money, and I sold both of them. He couldn't believe it. He's like, I had those shits for a long time. So people buy besides t-shirts and stuff, if you guys were to make a combo package where you get an EP and a shirt, yes, and bundle stuff, it's kind of cool too,
Bundle, yes.
So that's right. A good idea, right? It's good that you came on the show. I gave you some ideas.
Thank you.
No, I'm serious. Because I've worked merch. I've worked merch for a few different bands, and a lot of them I tell them to make bundles, and they make bundles and they sell. Because listen, you could the t-shirts nowadays. When I went to Prong and Life of Agony, the t-shirts are $40. Want a long sleeve shirt? It's $50-$60. And wow. Again, that's merch goes for that now. You can get a CD or, vinyl, they charge $25-$30 for a vinyl. That's usually how much it costs nowadays, right?
Yeah, the vinyls, we're selling $25 for the vinyl.
Yeah. And the CDs you can sell for $10 or $15 or whatever the hell it is. I mean, you can't even get cassettes anymore. Imagine. Everything's all digitized, But yeah, stickers, buttons, some cool bracelets. Maybe you can get somebody to make your Spike, Polite, and Sewage with the alligator on a necklace or a keychain or something. It's cool too, I know Elephant Killer, they have these little elephant figurines. They're not figurines. They're little plushies. I actually had one. I can't even find it. I don't know where the hell. They're supposed to bring me one back. A little elephant, and it has their t-shirt, Elephant Killer, on. It's really cute.
I've seen them.
Yeah,
yes.
So you can get something you get an alligator with Spike bracelets on, Hey, people buy these things, I'm telling you. So, it's good.
Remarkable, yes.
It's very remarkable. You want to be different. So, some bands do this and some bands do that. So, you got to try to figure out what what ages mostly go to your shows, can I ask?
Out of our shows, I noticed people from their 20s up until, 65. It seems like.
Wow, well look, there's old punk rockers out there. Trust me, I'll probably be one of them too. Still, dressing with different colored hair and, wearing combat boots and, going in the pits, Or you could do as simple as look like easy Halloween costume. Just get a dog collar with a fucking padlock and wear your wife beater and look all scroungy, and you could look like Sid Vicious, you know what I mean? Right?
Go give it a try.
What's that?
Sell the uniform. We could sell it. That's right.
Yeah, you could sell it, exactly. One time, I don't know if you ever heard of this band, and I think they're playing, I don't know if they're playing tonight somewhere. My friend Tim McMurtry from MOD, he does his own, Trip Squad production company, and he's got a whole bunch of bands playing, I think, in Hazlitt, Jersey, and I think the Bollocks, you ever hear of them?
The Baller? I think I have heard of that. Yeah.
Actually, I've seen them. They're pretty fucking good. They're a Sex Pistols tribute band. They're fucking amazing, those guys. I saw them back in, I think it was 2018. They played at Mother Pug Saloon in Staten Island, I think is where it is. And I only went there because my friends at the time were in a Motorhead tribute band. They were called Head Motor. So my friend Mezzy used to be the guitarist for them, and my friend Sean was the bass player and singer, and my other friend Billy. They were a three-piece band also, and they did Head Motor, and they did all like Motorhead songs. And actually, the Bollocks opened up for them one night. They were fucking great, that band. But the guy was like, there was a couple of people that looked like the Sex Pistols, except for the singer. The singer looked like a preppy guy. It was like pretty comical, actually.
That does sound comical.
Yeah, he was like pretty preppy compared to the rest of his band. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, but once he was fucking great. So they were great bands. Just check them out if you haven't like checked them out yet. But the Bollocks, they're playing, I think, tomorrow, or maybe it's even tonight. That's one of them days. And actually, my couple of my other friends are playing in punk bands out in Oakdale tomorrow night. It's called Deadly Skies. You ever hear of them?
Not so sure.
Okay. So they're kind of like upcoming bands, but they're playing at Shaker's Pub in Oakdale tomorrow night, which is kind of far. It's like out in Suffolk. That's why I'm not going. But, you know.
It's a good place.
But you've been there before?
Yep. It's good, some shows over there.
That's good. Yeah, one other band that wants to come on in a couple of weeks called Jackpipe. You ever heard of them?
I think I have, actually.
They actually do they sent me some song called Where's My Egg Roll? I was like dying when I listened to it. So they have a lot of tongue-in-cheek lyricism with like, you know, like a mix of different genres of metal. They did a cover of Sepultura's Roots, Bloody Roots. It was pretty good, actually. So I'm probably going to have them on in the next couple of weeks when they can figure out their schedule. But they did send me some music and some stuff for them. But yeah, I've actually seen them play once. I saw them open up, it was October of 22. They was Jackpipe, Kill Code, Damn Your Eyes, and they all opened up for Prong at 89 North. And that was a fucking excellent show, actually. So I've seen a lot of, like, you know, local, like, metal bands and punk bands. And, you know, that's I really, you know, I like gothic doom metal, too. I like thrash, hardcore, you know, crossover type stuff. Rock and roll, yes. Country, not so much. I don't really care for hip-hop, but in disco, oh god, I could die if I listened to that. So, like, you know, so that's why I stick to doing my different genres on the show, you know. I mean, I can't say disco is that bad, because I'm sure when I was younger, I think I listened to, like, Donna Summer at one point, like, when I was younger, and maybe, like, you know, early, like, Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner and stuff. But they weren't so much disco, but maybe they were. I don't know, you know.
Yeah, the Tina Turner, Ike and Turner, that was some good stuff.
Yeah.
That's, I thought, I'm not so sure who it was Jimmy played for, but I think he might have been through there, too, for a little bit.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, working musician.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, look, everybody's got music influences everywhere, you know. So let me ask you a question. Your band, so you have Michelle's an original member, and you said that other guy, Anthony, is that his name?
Yeah, Anthony.
So original, and then you have the Beast, who's the replacement drummer. So if you guys can't get on the same schedule, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have been in a band since 1990, right?
Well, not all those people.
Okay.
No,
it was other people? Okay, gotcha. All right,
yeah,
well,
we had segments of people in lineups that lasted for years at a time. And I just recently came across Mark and see if he would fill in for us here and there, but he's too busy. He was the drummer from then.
Gotcha. All right. Well, look, families, life gets in the way, and who knows? When you guys make it big, he'll kick himself in his balls.
But for now, Michelle and Anthony, they're in it for life.
That's good. That's
Anthony's starting at 15, and her starting in 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Well, she's actually very good. I've watched her on some of the little videos that you guys have, like on TikTok and stuff. She's great. She dresses like punk and everything. I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it helps with me singing, her singing, responding back, and I like Blatz, that band Blatz, or X,
right?
Another band that's not exactly like that, but it kind of
right. Well, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So, okay, so let's see. I think. Oh, here's a funny question for you. Do you ever sing in the shower? I ask everybody this when they come on the show.
No, I don't sing in the shower.
You play guitar in the shower? I'm like,
nah.
No, I'm only kidding. I was testing to see if you were paying attention. You play air guitar in the shower. You try not to sing in the shower.
Air guitar. Oh man, that's silly. No, nothing of the. I try to get rehearsal, but I mean, it's I'm always so busy.
Right. Well, you do a lot of like jamming practice, but you guys record or jam out on Thursdays, right? Band practice is Thursdays.
That's the day we do it, Thursdays.
Okay.
584.
Gotcha. That's cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show tonight, and where can people find you on Facebook and wherever they can find you quickly?
They can find us on Instagram at SpikePolite_Sewage NYC. They can find us on the Facebook at Spikes NYC Punk Rock. Or just look up Spike Polite and Sewage. And then always visit SpikeSewage.com.
Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad you came on the show tonight. And I hope that you had a great interview. I think you guys are awesome. And, I'm going to be playing your music on the show.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you out there.
All right. Yeah, well, listen, I will definitely come to one of your shows when my foot is better. How's that?
January 27th at Mother Punk's.
Oh, that's tomorrow in Staten Island.
Muchacho, Italian Blood, and The Becoming.
All right, and where is another show after that?
We're working on March 7th at the Parkside Lounge for a record release. We're working on getting some other bands to play with us there.
All right,
maybe
cool.
Urban Waste, maybe RBNX.
All right, awesome. Well, I thank you for coming on, and I hope you have a great evening, and thank you very much, and I'll be playing your music on the show. So thanks, and have a great night.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
You too. Take care, Spike. Okay. Bye-bye. So that was great. I had Spike Polite and his band Sewage. They weren't able to come. The girl, Michelle and Anthony, and the other drummer, the Beast. But maybe eventually I get to interview them all together at some point down the road. But if you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram at MixedMetalMedia23. I'm also at Metal Mistress C 69. You can also go to my YouTube channel for Mixed Metal Media. I do post like audio, sometimes videos on there. And I'm also on Facebook at Mixed Metal Media. So I want to thank you all for listening to the show. I hope you enjoyed it. And, you never know who's going to be on next week. I always have a surprise guest on sometimes. So I hope you enjoyed listening to the show, and have a great night, everybody. Take care and good night. And we're going to play, I guess, let's see, what song am I going to play on here?